Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Talk Books. So I'm excited to do another book review for you guys today on a newly released book that just came out today, August 4th, 2015. And that book is What You Left Behind by Jessica Verdi. Now, I did receive this from the publisher, which is Source Books, but as always, I will give my 100% opinion on this book. So just because I was sent a book does not mean that that takes away from my views. So just put it out there. So yeah, so thanks again to Source Books for letting me read and review this book for my subscribers. So this book, when I read the synopsis, I was like, whew. I was really intrigued in the whole premise of the book, and it was something that I haven't really heard about or read about, especially in YA contemporary. Yeah, and when I read this, it kind of sounded more like a new adult book, because it deals with a lot of very adult topics. It also, to be honest, it felt a little lifetimey, just a tad, because it is it's a lot. So let me give you the synopsis so you know what I am talking about. So this book follows a 17-year-old boy named Ryden. He got his girlfriend Megan pregnant, but the problem is she has cancer. And she wanted to keep the baby, so she had to stop her treatment. And so the cancer got worse, so she sadly passed away. And Ryden is left feeling very guilty about the pregnancy, that he feels like if he didn't get her pregnant, she would have gone with her treatment, she would have probably survived, and she would have still been here today. But unfortunately that did not happen, and he's left being a dad at 17 and trying to struggle with school. He wants to get the scholarship for soccer to UCLA, and everything is very complicated for him, and he doesn't know what to do. He thinks he's a terrible dad, and he just doesn't know how to raise a child, so that becomes extremely complicated for him. But along the way, he meets this girl named Joni. He feels like she is the only friend that he has, and unfortunately, she does not know anything about his past. So he feels like he's able to act like his old self around her and pretend like he doesn't have a kid, and he's just a high school guy that goes to work and goes to school, and he's just normal. But at home, it's not very normal. But throughout the story, he discovers Meg's journal. Ryden is convinced that this journal means something, and that she has left other journals behind. And he thinks that these journals could help him maybe move on with his life and be a better father. A lot of these journals hold a lot of emotion and a lot of secrets, and that again makes everything a little more complicated for him. So he's just trying to let go and move forward and have a future, but he needs to let go first. It's a very sad synopsis, but for me personally, this is one of the most saddest stories that I've read. I know there's other sadder books out there and a lot of other characters who deal with a lot more hardship, but if you just really think about it, he's 17, his girlfriend just died from cancer, and he's left with a baby, and he doesn't know what to do. Like, just put yourself in that position. I couldn't. So that part of it was just really like heartbreaking to even kind of just see how this kid has to go through all of this. It's like, oh, crazy. I'm gonna leave you here. Are you gonna stay? Okay, so What You Left Behind. Right off the bat, I absolutely love that it is on a 17-year-old guy's point of view in his life. You don't really get that a lot. You don't get a lot of teenage POVs, just a guy's POV. But not only that, it's just the type of situation that this guy is in. As you read it, you kind of just forget that he is 17, because face it, having a child at any age is hard, but let alone 17 is even harder. And obviously the circumstances that he went through it's just a hard thing to go through. So I really enjoyed that we got to see a different side of a YA book and a different type of storyline that you don't hear about very often. This is one of the books that you really gotta give the benefit of the doubt to, because sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes he was very frustrating. As a reader, he was a frustrating character, especially in the first half, because he hated his life. This is a 17-year-old guy who basically wishes this child was never born, and he just hates that he's a dad now. When you constantly have to hear him complain that he's a dad and that he wished this has never happened, and he wished that his girlfriend was still alive and that things would just go back to normal. Sometimes I had to like snap out of it and be like, all right, Nicole, he is only 17. You kind of have to put yourself in this guy's shoes. Sometimes you are like, oh, just stop complaining already. Like, I understand you have a child, blah, blah, but then you just have to take a moment and be like, all right, 17, his life is very complicated right now. So Raiden, I really admire his character, and everything that he has to struggle with. Sometimes I was frustrated with him. I applaud everything that he's been through, and it's hard for him to be honest with other people, let alone himself. So it was just really amazing to just see his growth. I was very worried though that I wasn't gonna really see a big growth, but I did, and I was just really glad, because if there wasn't any growth, this book would have been burp. I was really glad about that, because this was a character that needed growth. He needed character development. If that wasn't going to happen, this would have been very downhill. So I'm glad that the writer respected him enough to really give him that, because it was so important for him. I was honestly rooting for him throughout the whole book. Just, you feel for him, and you're just, it's like, my favorite character in this book was Joni. Like, she is such a different female character. Sometimes female characters in books, when it comes to really hot guys, they act like kind of dumb, or they act really ditzy, or very uncomfortable, or just not themselves. This girl, I can't. Like, she was so goofy, and there were certain moments where I'm just like, did she really just do that? Like, I felt embarrassed for her, but at the same time, that's her, and she just didn't care that this hot guy was standing in front of her. Like, she was just being herself, and I really loved that about her. And it was just a character that he needed in his life, romantic or not. Just a person, someone to just listen to him. He had no friends, and this girl came along. Like, just to put this out there, this is not a love story. There is romance elements in this book, but it is not a love story. As you read on, you know that's not, and that's okay, and I'm just glad. But them two as just friends, I love them, and she was just like that helping hand that he needed, that extra boost that he did not get from his mom or from his old friends at high school. He just needed someone like her, and they were just awesome together. She was just amazing. I just loved her so much. Another thing that I really loved about this book is the writing style. A lot of it was written in the journals of Meg, and also kind of flashbacks, and it really needed that. And even though Meg is dead, you still feel like her soul or whatever is in this book. You still feel her present. You know her through her journals a little bit, and I really enjoyed that. So I liked how the author kind of added the journals in, added certain past events in the book as well. You really understood where Ryder was coming from, and kind of understood his past a little more, and knew the relationship between him and Meg. It just made the book more of a whole, and you didn't really have any missing pieces. A lot of questions were answered, and you really felt like you got to know Ryder a lot more through these flashbacks. Even though this book for me was a really, really sad plot line, I didn't cry throughout the whole book, which I'm glad about. Because you don't always want to read a depressing book. The situation is really sad. The whole book wasn't sad. You know what I'm saying? Like 90% of the book, I didn't cry. The last 10%, it was just like, oh. There were just certain moments in the book that really got me, like right here. I'm just glad that I got to see Raiden as a character really developed and come to terms with the fact that this is his life and there's no going back, unfortunately, and you just have to take it by the wings and just go with it. So this book really sends a great message in the fact that you just can't change the past, and you just have to move forward with any situation that you are dealt with, and you have to forgive, you have to forget, you have to move on, and you have to just make better for yourself. And I think that this book sends an awesome message with that. And this book is something that I really enjoyed and I really loved. I give this book 4 stars. It wasn't a full 5-star book for me. It didn't have every emotion that I wanted. Like, thank God for Joni, honestly. If Joni wasn't who she was, this might have been a 3-star book. But just because I love Joni and I love the way that she brought Raiden to life a little more, that's why I'm giving it a 4-star. Because with Raiden, you don't get every type of emotion with him. He's either sad or angry. Sometimes you get a little more of the happy side, but you don't always get that, and I wanted a little more from him. Overall, this is a book that a lot of people should read. I would definitely pick it up. It is a summer book to read at any time of the year, and it's a great YA contemporary that deals with more adult situations. I really enjoyed it. I really want to pick up more of her books. There's a couple books in the back that I actually want to get to. I really enjoyed her writing. Go pick this up if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts on it if you do pick it up. And until next time, I'll talk to you in our next video. Bye.